A Polish millionaire who stole a hat from a little boy in front of a global audience at a tennis match has been, shockingly, slammed around the world. It's a grand slam! Everyone has reacted, from famous tennis players, politicians, and even now the man himself. Also, this story is literally tennis. We have all the mad info in one handy place right here on Scroll Deep with me, Benedict Townsend, the show that keeps up with internet nonsense so you don't have to. Polishman Kamil Majchrzak was playing a racket-based game against Karen Khachanov in, wait a minute, this is the US Open. As he was coming off the court, Kamil was greeting fans, signing things, and he even handed his hat to a young American boy named Brock, when all of a sudden, a grown man next to the boy snatched the hat out of the lad's hands and surreptitiously stored it in his wife's bag. And the man was quickly identified online as a Polish millionaire named Piotr Szczerek. A lot of Polish names in this story, and I'm going to do a preemptive apology. Who is CEO of paving company Drogbrook. Not a good year for CEOs. I would say, if I was a heartless CEO at the moment, I'd probably be keeping my head down. The public sentiment is not exactly warm at the moment towards evil CEOs. Especially after the Coldplay incident, especially after, let's talk about Luigi. After pulling this frankly Mr. Burns-esque move, Peter continued on with his day, somehow oblivious to the fact that everyone in this giant place filled with people that was also being filmed would have seen what he did. And the backlash was instant. Drogbrook was inundated with negative reviews after people found his company online. The company now has a 1.4 star rating on Google reviews, and I don't know about you, but when I'm hiring a paving company, I go straight to Google reviews. And if I see a bad review, I think I won't use them to pave my stadium or whatever they do. And the firm actually had to shut down its Trustpilot page, quote, due to media attention. A Polish MP said on X, the Everything app, quote, without a doubt the most recognizable Polish businessman in the world, billions of followers reached in a single day, Polish entrepreneurs will be struggling to recover from this image loss for years, unfortunately. I like just ending something in, unfortunately. Dare I say, it reminds me a little bit of the late great Donald Trump, RIP. These videos live forever. At a certain point, that will be true. Unless you are a US customs official who is watching this video as I'm waiting in the airport, in which case, that was a joke. Now look, there's a lot of Polish people in this story, and there would have been a time when people would have made lowbrow Polish jokes. This was like a real 90s thing to make jokes about, oh, the Polish Navy, they put a window on their submarine. Like, that was a real thing. Back in the day, there was a lot of inter-white people racism, back when it was like racism against Catholics and stuff. But you know, this being 2025, we're gonna not focus on the fact he's Polish and more focus on the fact that he seems to be a boof. The CEO has now apologized, presumably after being visited by 3 Polish ghosts in the night, and in a statement said, quote, due to the situation that happened during the match, I would like to clearly apologize to the injured boy. I think he's all right, but I get what he means. Emotionally injured. His family, as well as all the fans and the player himself. In emotions, in the crowd rejoicing after the victory, I was convinced the tennis player tips his hat in my direction, to my sons who have asked for autographs earlier. Today I know I did something that looked like a deliberate collection of a child's souvenir. This was not my intention, but it doesn't change the fact that I hurt the boy and disappointed the fans. Feels incredibly heartfelt. Some people have said it feels a bit ChatGPT, I don't know. ChatGPT wouldn't have done that. ChatGPT would have been like,
although you took the hat, you needed it in that moment, and that was your truth.
Now that is apparently the only actual statement he has issued, which is a shame because there were several quite funny fake apologies that were circling the internet. He's actually clarified, quote, I also want to make it clear, neither myself nor my wife nor my sons have commented on this situation on social media, as well as on any portal, be it, I guess, the Dublin or New York portals. Which is a shame, as I said, because the most prominent fake apology which was going around, which I will read, said, quote, the recent incident at the tennis match, that's tennis, has caused a disproportionate online uproar. It's all about the famous hat, of course. Yes, I took it. Yes, I did it quickly, but as I've always said, life is first come, first served. I understand that some people might not like it, but please, let's not make a global scandal out of the hat. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you would have it, and so on and so forth. It's very funny, but it's like, it's kind of obviously fake, because it's kind of rage baity. Like, it ends with him being like, let's be sportsmanlike, and it's like, but that's not what you did. I think the reaction from most people has been like, are you sorry, or are you sorry you got caught in the most obvious way? What if that was one of those tennis matches that took place where there's no crowd and no cameras, and no one had seen him do it? you know? What if it was one of those tennis matches they do in the dark? They have all those injuries. Then no one would have seen the hat theft, and maybe he wouldn't have apologized. But there is a happy ending here, which is that there is one classy person involved in this story, and that is the tennis player himself, who met the fan later on, and he posed in some social media clips with the boy, and they shook hands, and he gave him some gifts, including a hat similar to the one that was stolen from the boy. And he said, quote, "Today after warm-up, I had a nice meeting. Do you recognize the cap?" And so, no cap. In fact, there was a cap. He met the boy, and the boy was happy. Good for Brock. Brock Obama is his full name. Brock Hussein Obama. Dwayne the Brock Johnson. I think in all the many years we've been doing this show, we haven't seen anything that is less tennis than stealing a hat from a boy at a tennis match. That is one of the least tennis things we've ever seen. In fact, I'm reintroducing the rules of Scroll Deep. Rule 206. 206. Don't steal a hat from a boy. Or anyone, I guess. I guess shout out to Brock Obama, because I think he handled himself quite well in the moment. You know, that could be quite traumatizing for a child. I think we all remember the first time we were swindled by a Polish millionaire. And some of us, you know, maybe they would wild out. Maybe they would spin around like the Tasmanian devil. You never know with a kid. But he took it on the chin. And ultimately, he ended up with the hat and the moral victory. So, Scroll Deep's hero of the week, that child. And let's just say, when it comes to repave the studio, I knew who I won't be going to. But what do you think of all this? Do you think it genuinely was a mistake? Do you think he just thought the hat was for him and he's just a simple, you know, run-of-the-mill, salt-of-the-earth millionaire who's been once again slandered by the mean internet? Are you Brock? Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. I'm Benedict Townsend. I've got to head off now because I've got to apologise to a young boy. I stole a donor heart from him that he needed. Whoops. I wanted to be a Time Lord with 2 hearts. I thought it'd be fun. So I got to lay some flowers at his grave. This has been Scroll Deep. Bye.